Hello everybody, Tio or Tony here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or nighttime whenever you guys are deciding to watch this video. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit off. I'm starting to get sick. I'm gonna start sounding like Squidward here soon, so just bear with me here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the last storytime video. I'm trying to get used to, the vocals and everything like that and settings, so hopefully everything sounds good. I just bear with me. I'm gonna have to, keep messing with the settings and all that type of stuff. But yeah, today's storytime is a pretty crazy one. This storytime is actually how I got arrested for the first time, so hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys do enjoy it, and let's get into it. So this story time was actually really recent. This actually happened a few months ago, like 3 or 4 months ago. I was just chilling at my friend's house that wasn't too far from my house. It was me and my friends, and he only lived like a 5-minute walk from me. He was right across the pond from the back of my house, and we were just chilling at his house. We were just playing video games, talking, having fun, hanging out with each other. And the friend's house that I went to, his name was Coda. There was me, Kevin, Lee, and Zach, and there was a few other people there that I didn't know at the time, but they were just hanging out with us, chilling. And after chilling there for a while, for like 30 minutes or an hour, we all were starting to get hungry, so we all decided to go out and go get food. So me, Zach, Kevin, and Lee, we got up, and the other kids that I didn't know, they actually stayed at Coda's house. And I hopped in my car, Zach got in my passenger seat, Kevin got in his car, and Lee got in his Jeep. And mind this, me and Kevin, we both had fast cars. He had a BMW, and I have a Mustang. So, they're pretty fast cars. And we're going to a place called Wawa. It's pretty much like a gas station, but they make food at the gas station inside as well. If you know Wawa, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we all go there, and the drive was like around 15 or 20 minutes. It wasn't that far considering that we all had cars, so we could pretty much just go wherever we want. So we drove to Wawa, and after 15 or 20 minutes, we got to Wawa. We pulled up and we parked, and nothing out of the ordinary. We went inside, ordered food. Everybody ordered food. I believe I got like a rice bowl with like beef in it or chicken, and it was pretty good. So yeah, we sat down, we all got our food, and we ate. Like I said, nothing really out of the ordinary. Just me and my few friends went to Wawa and to go eat, right? So we're eating, we're talking, we're laughing, having fun, chilling with each other. So after we ate, we got up, we left, we went back into our cars. Zach went into my passenger seat again. I got in my car, Kevin got in his car, and Lee got in his car, right? So we're leaving Wawa, and my car is like pretty loud. It has a custom exhaust on it, and I didn't know, but there was a cop in the back of the Wawa and I didn't see him. So, we all zoom out of there. I drive out first, and I drive out pretty fast, and my car's loud, so it attracts a lot of attention. So I'm guessing it got the cop's attention. And Kevin's behind me, and then there's Lee behind Kevin, right? So we're going, and I guess I didn't know this, and the cop was following us, and I was already way ahead of everybody else, and Kevin was trying to catch up to me. And yeah, this cop was just following us out of Wawa the whole time. So, we're out of Wawa, we're going back to Coda's house, and we get to right before this bridge that gets to Coda's house. Me and Kevin were like, fuck it, we're just gonna go fast. We're pretty much just gonna try keeping up with each other. So I'm going really fast, he's going really fast, and we both decide to turn off our lights and go blackout mode, right? So Kevin turns off his lights, I turn off my lights, and we're just going full speed ahead towards this bridge. And it's like a pretty big bridge, so it's not like we're gonna fly over it, but we're still going really fast. Next thing you know, as I'm coming up to this bridge, there was a cop in the median between the bridge and like on the left hand side there was grass, and that's where he was. The cop was sitting there in the median. He sees me and Kevin coming at him like full speed ahead, and he turned on his light, to high beam us. We go zooming past this cop, really high speeds, and we're like, fuck it. Me and Kevin, we just kept going past this cop, and the cop turns on his lights and his sirens, and he's trying to follow us. Leland, happily, he stopped, and he didn't, go fast with us. But me and Kevin are just going, bro. We're going fast over this bridge. To my surprise, after we get over the bridge, I see the horizon of, beneath the bridge. Next thing you know, there's 3 cop cars in front of us. Yeah, there's 3 cops cars in front of us on the left lane while I'm in the left lane, so I switch over to the right lane. And me and Kevin are just booking it past these cops. There was a cop that was chasing us before the bridge. Now there's 3 cops behind us. I get in front of Kevin, and, me and Kevin both have our lights off still, and we're just going. So there's a stoplight that's coming up right after we get over the bridge. And mind this, after we passed the first cop right before the bridge, my friend Zach in the passenger seat, first he was scared, like I was going that fast, and the next thing you know, after I passed the cop right before the bridge, this motherfucker was like, just keep going, egging me on to keep going. So I was like, alright, fuck it. So that's why me and Kevin just kept going full speed past these cops, right? So we pull up to this stoplight, and I go in the left lane, I go into the left turning lane, and Kevin keeps going straight. And as I go in the left lane, of course, the cops are right behind me going into the left lane as well, right? So I turn left, and then I turn right into like a parking lot, which has like a Publix parking lot. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my defeat. And I stopped. So as I was coming to a stop, of course, there's, like 8 cop cars behind me, right? Like, having the sirens on, their lights and everything. So I stop, and next thing you know, there's a gun pointed at the passenger side at Zach. There's a gun pointed at my side. And well, I turn off the car. I put my hands out the window and I'm just taking my defeat, right? Sitting there like I fucked up really bad. And me and Zach are, freaked out. And well, the cop pulls up to my driver's side door, rips open the door and pulls me out. And he rips me out of the car. He puts me up against the side of my car. And next thing you know, I'm in handcuffs. And keep in mind, Kevin's still going the same direction he was. He keeps going straight after the stoplight, right? So the cop's arresting me and I am just like, in my head, I'm like, fuck. I'm just accepting my defeat. And the cop is just escorting me to the back of his cop car. No questions, nothing, just escorting me back to the cop car. So after they arrested me, they put me in the back of the cop car. They started searching the car and then they started searching Zach. And luckily, we didn't really have anything on us beside a couple of vapes, like nicotine vapes. So they kind of just took the vapes away from us. And then the cop that arrested me started walking to the back of his cop car where I was sitting. And he opened the door and he was questioning me like, why were you going that fast? What were you doing? You could have hurt somebody. You could have killed somebody. You could have killed yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, I was shitting bricks. This is my first time ever getting arrested and I was pretty scared. But I just told them that I was being stupid and that I was speeding, all that type of stuff, and they were not having it. They're like, oh, you're going way too fast. You could have killed somebody, kill yourself. Pretty much just repeating what they said. And yeah, they were not having it. They're like, you're going to jail. I was like, okay, cool. So yep, no phone, nothing in the back of this cop car, about to go to jail. So they searched Zach, didn't find anything on Zach. They towed the car, or well, I find that out later in the story that they towed the car. And I'm not gonna lie, to be fair, the cops were acting pretty right in this circumstance. Like, they were acting completely right. I was going a crazy amount of speed, and honestly, I was just trying to, play the victim in this, which I could not play no victim in this, but, the cops were right. I don't blame them for being how they were and not having it with me that night. So after they searched the car, searched Zach, searched me, they read me my Miranda rights. I'm just in the back of this cop car, just by myself. And I was low-key freaking out. I'm just sitting there taking my defeat. And, well, the cop got inside of the cop car after a while, after they discussed what was going on. This cop car got into the car, and I was giving him a bit of attitude because I was still, upset of what was going on, even though I was completely in the wrong. I was, completely driving illegally at very high speeds. But I was giving this cop a little bit of attitude for some reason because I was just, pissed off. Eventually, after a little bit of driving towards the jail, I did calm down and I did gain my composure. And me and this cop, we actually did get along pretty well. I talked to him. He was pretty chill. And, he was just telling me, you can't drive like that. It's wrong. And, I was like, yeah, I understand. I can't drive like that. It's not right. It could have killed somebody. Could have killed myself. Just like what the cops were saying to me whenever they arrested me. Anyway, so we get to the jail. And the cop pulls in the back side of the jail. And in the back side of the jail, the way how they let you in, there's like this metal garage door that you go through like Batman. So he opened the door, we drove into there and it closes behind you. And you're like in this big area where all the cop cars are at that arrested other people. We're in the back. I'm waiting there for a bit, waiting for the cop to let me out. After like 5 minutes, a cop comes to the door, lets me out, takes me out of my handcuffs, which felt a little bit better. It was kind of tight on my hands. So it was a little bit of a relief. So the cop takes me out of my handcuffs and then he escorts me to like this area where there's a door, brings me into this door, like little room where there's 2 cops in there and they search you again, that you didn't bring anything else with you, and you have to take all your personal items out, like your phone, keys, all that stuff. So they search me. They actually let me get phone numbers off my phone before I had to put my phone away into like this little baggie of my personal items. So I got my mom's phone number, I got a couple other phone numbers because I did not know how long I was going to be in there for. Who knows how long I would have been in there for, right? But anyways, so they let me put down phone numbers. I got my phone numbers down on a piece of paper. And then, yep, all my stuff was gone. And then they put me through like a metal detector to make sure I had nothing else hidden. They put me through another scanner, like an x-ray scanner, to make sure I had nothing shoved up there. That was kind of, funny. And then I sat down in this chair right next to the mugshot screen. And then they have me stand up. They take my mugshot. They take pictures of, like everything else, like my tattoos, shoes, the bottom of my shoes for some reason. And then after the mugshot, they did my fingerprints, scanned me in and everything like that. And then they had me sit in this one big waiting room area. That was like the main office of the jail. So what it is, it's like a waiting room area. It's like a bunch of chairs that looks like a airport gate lounge. And then there's like an office in front of all the chairs. But yeah, I'm sitting there forever. I sat there for at least 6 hours doing nothing, waiting for me to get processed in the jail, for all my fingerprints to go through and everything like that. There's a telephone to the right. So I get up, I go over to the telephone. I dialed my mom. I called my mom. That was the first person that I called. And of course, no parent is happy here about their kid being in jail for them being an idiot. So, yep, I called her. She wasn't too happy about hearing me in jail. And she said just to let her know what was going to happen and everything, what was going on, if I was going to get, bonded out. I hang up. I call Kevin to see what he's doing. He's actually back at Coda's house. He went back to Coda's house. He told me whenever he got to Coda's house, he parked his car in the back of the house to like hide from the cops. And, I thought that was it, right? Thought I was just going to be in jail. Thought that I was was just going to be sitting in there for however long. So I hang up the phone, called my mom, called Kevin, sat down for another hour or so. And then one of the cops finally comes over to me. He gives me my paper and, my speeding quote unquote ticket, which gave me a court date. He escorts me to a waiting cell. I was in that waiting cell for another 6 to 8 hours. I don't really remember how long I was in there for, but I was in there for a while until morning time, until 8 a.m. And the only thing that was in there was a brick slab to lay on / sit on and a metal toilet. That's it. And a very small room with just brick walls around you, 4 brick walls and a metal door. So I just sat down and just stared at the wall for the whole time. I think I got up and walked around a couple times and used the bathroom. But other than that, I just walked around, walked in circles for 8 hours until I was released. But while I was in there, this is something I did not expect to happen at all. I was in there and it was around 4 a.m. I think. What happened was I was looking out the door, just looking out, just observing what was going on. Guess who I see in a distance coming closer to the door? I see Kevin. I see Kevin in a jumpsuit, in a jail jumpsuit already, getting escorted to a waiting room, a waiting cell for himself. And I banged on the door and and this motherfucker looks around and just does the emote wave to me. And we both waved back at each other, and the cop yelled at him. Actually, the cop was like, "Don't look at him, turn around." And me and Kevin were both kind of laughing, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, they caught Kevin. I wonder how they caught Kevin. So I'm just sitting there for a little bit. Anyways, 4 more hours passed by until 8, and I finally got bonded out by my mom. They gave me my bond papers, and then they gave me all my personal items back. My mom was there. She was not really happy to see me, but she was also happy to see me at the same time because I was out of jail. And I gave her a hug and everything. I told her thank you and I love her and that I'm sorry. So we get into the car and we're driving back home. My mom's giving me the pep talk, the mom pep talk, obviously, which I deserve 100%. So Zach told me he got picked up, and Zach went home, and then he was waiting for me to get out of jail. And Zach picked me up from my house, and we went to go to get my car to get out of the impound because, like I said, in the middle of the story, they towed my car away and everything. So we went to the impound place. We paid a couple $100 to get my car out. It wasn't that much because it was the same day that they got it impounded. Otherwise, if I waited more and more days, it would have been more money. So we got it out the same day, and yeah, I'm back in my car. And we were in the impound place for a while. We were there for at least 2 or 3 hours waiting to get my car out. And well, we got my car out and I'm freely back on the road, right? After we get my car out, Kevin gets out of jail, same time, same day. And yep, he didn't even have a bond. His mom picked him up. And then we all meet up at Coda's house, right? We all meet up at Coda's house. Kevin's car is still there. And he explained to me what happened. So with him, the cops came to Coda's house at 4 in the morning banging on the door looking for Kevin. And the only reason why they found out who Kevin was because they had a picture of his license plate. And this idiot went to a house that was nearby my house, and the cops had my address with my license plate as well. So they went to my house first to check if he was around there, and then they found him literally right across the pond, a next street over. And I also forgot to mention that Kevin actually came with me and Zach to the car impound place to get my car out of the impound. So that was nice. And Kevin also told me whenever we got back to Coda's house after me and him got out, the other reason why they were able to find him easily was because days before this happened, 4 days before that me and him got arrested, this idiot was speeding. He got pulled over before this happened, so they already knew what his address was, his license plate already. So they were pretty much just on his ass, just tracking him at that point. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of my first time getting arrested. I hope you guys learned something from this story. Do not drive at high speeds. Do not go blackout mode, going, super fast and running from cops. Please be safe on the roads. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. I hope you guys learned something from it. If you guys did like it, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next story time.